Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. So I have my Azure order for the month of December sitting out here on my table. I actually went and picked this up on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Some of it has been in the fridge, but I actually took it out today because I wanted to show you guys what I got for the month of December. Today is December the 1st. I may be potentially participating in a pantry challenge for the month of January and February where I'm focusing on eating just strictly out of my pantry and freezers and not going to the grocery store. So I have another Azure pickup scheduled for the end of December, and that is probably going to be it for grocery shopping for me for at least 2 months. So this is going to be kind of some stuff that I'm getting, not to prepare for the pantry challenge, because for me, the pantry challenge goal is to eat through my pantry. I try to keep a pretty stocked pantry. I will link my pantry tour up here if you guys haven't seen it yet, where I just show you what I put up for the year and what's in these buckets below here. I go through everything and just show you. But I actually went through some of those buckets and found that they were getting very, very low on some stuff. And being that we're in the month of December and I'm doing a whole bunch of goodie making, like treats that I normally don't make, and making more food than normal. I just had to stock up on a couple of things and kind of restock my pantry with some things that I noticed were low, and I got some deals at Azure. So I'm going to show you what I picked up at Azure. I also do have a couple things in here that I got with a Sam's Club order, and my husband actually had to go into Costco yesterday, and I got him to grab me one thing at Costco. So I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be eating for the month of December, or what we're going to be stocking up for the month of December. Probably should start with the stuff that I should get put back into my fridge and freezer. So to start, I got these white corn tortillas. I love these. Normally I get the yellow ones, but they were actually showing out of stock right before my order shipped. So I just changed it to the white ones, and these were on sale. I got 3 packets of them. So I just store them in my freezer, and they kind of store okay in the freezer. They actually come frozen, so I just continue to keep them in the freezer. Now they do break a little bit. I actually purchased some corn a couple months ago from Azure with my hope of being able to make my own corn tortillas. I have not had the energy, I guess that's the right wording. I've not had the energy or just the motivation to try to make my own. So I just am going to stock up on these frozen ones and we can use them. Maybe in the pantry challenge, I'll get a little bit more motivation and we can make our own corn tortillas. But for now, I bought some frozen ones. And then this is a new product that I got this month. It was on sale and I thought I'd give it a try. I used to have my own kefir grains, like milk kefir, and I would make it myself. And then my kefir grains ended up going, like they weren't good anymore. So I just got rid of them. But I do love to have it in the morning. So I got this stuff and it is really, really good. I love it. It's just pretty much like a drinkable yogurt. So it's got a little bit more tang to it, but this is super, super good. I just got 1 sour cream this month. I always get this every single month. Usually I get 2 of them and 2 lasts us the month, but I just decided to get 1 this month because we actually have a couple already in the fridge and they last way past the expiry date, so I'm not too concerned. And then I got a 50-pound bag of carrots. These are, what are these ones? Or not a 50-pound bag, sorry, a 25-pound bag of carrots. Now it says on here that these are juice carrots, but I actually paid, yeah, this is what I paid for, the number 2 organic carrots. So these ones were on sale. I think I paid $23. I will leave the prices here below for you guys so that you know exactly what I paid. But I actually plan on doing a whole bunch of canning. These actually look in really, really, really good condition. I'm super, super happy with them. I think the only reason that they're considered a number 2 is because they're really short and stubby, but that's going to work amazing for canning them. So this is what I have left on my pantry shelf for my canned carrots. We eat a lot of canned carrots because this is one of Steven's favorite vegetables to have as a side. I'm going to plan on canning a whole bunch more pints. That way we can have a solid, like maybe 4 rows of carrots. And then another thing Azure had on sale was their canning jars. And these ones are a newer size that they have. I just ordered them without the rings and the lids because I have already wide mouth ones or regular mouth ones that will fit these. The ball and 4-jar lids I have found fit the Azure jars. And I love Azure canning jars. They are such good quality, and they've got this like beautiful blue to them. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up. Now with these jars, I actually plan to use them to put my tallow in. I make my own face and hand lotion, and I make it with tallow. And I love using these jars because they're super short and I can get my hands in really good. I also love gifting my tallow to my daughter. That is one of her favorite lotions. She tried it one time and she's like, Mom, I love this. You need to keep making it for me. Anyways, I plan on making me a whole bunch, and I plan on making my daughter a whole bunch as well. So I got these jars to do that. And then I also got this new size that they have. They are a narrow pint, or are they a pint and a half? Let's see what it says on the box here. 12 ounce. I like them. They'll be really good for doing asparagus in the springtime. And just green beans, like tall French style green beans. They'll be really good for that. But I just really like them. It's a new size that they just got. So I got a box of those again because they were on sale. And then I like to stay stocked up on their cotton balls. I love the fact that these are organic and they are chlorine free. They got nothing bad in them, so it's super good for my sensitive skin. And then I got some of these. I usually use cotton balls to help remove my makeup. I have this hydrosil that I put on after I use my face wash, and it just kind of helps get the dirt off. Anyways, I love using cotton balls for those. Hopefully my daughter's not watching this video. I don't think she really watches my videos, but anyways, I got these for her stocking. She likes to have these for her makeup removers, so I like to get her the organic stuff when I can. So that is going to be a stocking stuffer for her. And then this was something that was on sale this month. I have heard so many good things about this e-cloth. I've never tried it before. This one is supposed to be good for removing the haze that you get on your window, like your car windows. So I thought I would give this a try and just put it in my truck and see if it does help, because sometimes, you know, when the sun is setting early and you have that haze on your inside of your windshield, this is supposed to help with it. So I got that. Hopefully it works. I'm going to test it and see. And if I like how this works, I might venture into getting like the bathroom ones, because they have a whole line of different kinds of stuff. Other cleaning products I always stay stocked up on is their dish soap. The only thing I really do not like about their dish soap is you don't get all of the suds that you would from those other products, but it does get my dishes clean. And it is a fairly non-toxic dish soap. So I love the fact that it doesn't have a whole bunch of unnecessary chemicals in it. As long as my dishes are getting clean, I do not need the suds there to verify that they are getting clean. So it works and I love it. I actually had a 5-gallon bucket of this in my cart, but I removed it because I actually got more Azure points by putting in the 128 ounce container. And then I actually bought this top off of Azure as well, and it just screws on to a regular size mason jar. And then I just put my dish soap in here and then just use this for my dish soap. I do the same with their hand soap. This is just, I'm reusing this container. This is not what's actually in here. This is Azure hand soap in here. And I don't keep it in a mason jar like this because I want to be able to know the difference. So this is actually marked hand soap. For me, when I'm in a rush, I don't want to get these mixed up. So that's why I just keep them separate. But that's all I do with the dish soap and it works perfect. It definitely would have been a lot cheaper for me to get the 5-gallon bucket of the dish soap, but the Azure points kind of added up to be a little bit more, so I just thought I would get this. Plus, I honestly don't have an area to store a 5-gallon bucket of dish soap, so I have a perfect spot for this storage. And then I'm getting some more of their toilet bowl cleaner. I have gotten this in the past and it works really, really good. And I just get the fragrance free because I honestly don't need the fragrance to know that my toilet is clean. So I get that. It works amazing. And I think this one, no, it wasn't on sale. I just needed to restock. So I got some of that. And then more canning activities. I got a 50-pound box of white potatoes, and they are in amazing shape, and these were actually on sale. I think they were actually on sale at the beginning of November, and I just put them in my cart and left them in there, and I got the sales price when I went to pick it up at the end of November. But kind of like the carrots, I am getting very, very, very low on my potatoes, and I love to have canned potatoes versus just having to peel and chop them. I did mention this during my pantry tour. I have not mastered making mashed potatoes with my canned potatoes, but you guys gave me a couple of really, really good tips on how to try it. So I might experiment with trying to make some mashed potatoes with it. I'm not going to can this whole 50-pound box. I will probably can maybe about 75% of it and then leave like 25% so that I can have like some fresh potatoes if I need them to do like some fresh mashed potatoes for Christmas. Hopefully they will last a little bit, but they are already starting to sprout. That's one thing that I have found with the Azure potatoes is that they do not store for a very, very long time. So if you are not a big family and would not quickly eat through a 50-pound box, or you're not planning on canning, I wouldn't purchase such a big quantity because they do sprout fairly quickly and get soft fairly quickly. I am actually going to quickly get this stuff put back into my fridge and freezer before those start to thaw, and then I will show you the rest of the stuff. All right, got to put away. So I had some pine sitting on my table. I actually brought that back with me from Arkansas. We don't have any pine trees on our property, and I'm really, really wanting to experiment and make my own pine sill for cleaning the floor with. So I cut a little bit off of Steven's aunt's tree, and I'm gonna try to make some pine sill. Not today, but that's what that's there for. I do things like that, just random things. I really do actually want to plant a pine tree on our property because I would love to have the option. Pine is very, very, very good for many things. Okay, back to the Azure haul. I got some fish taco seasoning. I've never tried these ones before. I love fish tacos, so I got 3 of them because you get a cheaper deal to get 3, so we'll give it a try. And then I got some more candles. I have been burning candles every single night, so I really like these. I keep buying them every single month. They are my favorite. This stuff I love. This makes the best ramen broth. So I got some more of this. This was actually on sale, so I wanted to stock up. You actually don't need to store this in the fridge until it is open. So I already have some in my fridge right now, so I'm just going to put this on my pantry shelf. I am planning on making some good ramen broth, or it could be called like a pho or faux broth. I want to make some of that and actually can it so that we have it where I could just throw it on the stovetop. So I got some of that in case I need a little bit more to do that. For me, I really want to focus on getting stuff on my pantry shelf that we love, and that will be super quick meals. That's one reason I love having such a big stocked pantry, is because it is such a time saver for busy nights. There's another delivery. Steven has been ordering quite a bit of things. I don't know what's getting delivered now. Okay, I need to eat my words. That was actually a package for me. As I'm getting distracted, I am slowly getting stuff put away also. So one thing I wanted to can this fall and never got the opportunity to because I wasn't able to source a large amount of cauliflower is Gardena mix. I love Gardena mix. And I found these on Azure, so I'm gonna give them a try. It looks like, what do they have in it? Vegetables. So they have cauliflower, carrots, Greek peppers, and bell peppers. I usually put broccoli in mine also, but I'm gonna give this a try and see if I like it. I definitely prefer to make my own because I can make a lot more than this. Hopefully in the spring I can make my own because I will have peppers in my freezer from my garden. So I'll be able to put that in the mix, and I can always leave it out too. So during the month of November, Azure had this sale called the Abundance Sale. So what they did was took certain products and had those products on sale for 3 days. And you had to get them put into your cart and have your cart checked out in order to get that promotional price that they were offering for that 3 days. For the very first promotional thing, they had all different types of pancakes. I have never had buckwheat pancakes, And this was only, I think, not even $3 for this whole package. And I thought, let me just give it a try. I normally like making my own fresh milled pancakes, but I thought this would be good in a pinch. If I didn't have time to grind my wheat up, this was already done. How we make it here. Combine 1 cup. So I just need egg, oil, and then water, or I could even use milk in it. Looks pretty simple. I only got a 27-ounce bag because I've never had it before and I didn't want to get like a whole 5 pounds and then have me not like it. So this is good. And then the other thing that I ordered was some coconut sugar. I got 5 pounds of it. I don't use a lot of it. I'm trying to get away from the regular sugar and use more honey, maple syrup, and also coconut sugar. I got some new cookbooks that I ordered on Amazon. And she likes to use coconut sugar in this. She doesn't use any refined sugar. So a lot of these recipes in this cookbook have coconut sugar in them, like things like this. So I thought I would just order some coconut sugar so I can experiment with those recipes. I know that you can always sub coconut sugar for just regular sugar, but again, I am trying to actually get away from refined sugar. Now, with that being said, let's roll on to the Sam's Club where I have literally 3 bags of refined sugar. This is the stuff I like to get from Sam's Club. You actually cannot get it in store. You can only order it through their website, and it is only, I want to say it's $7 a bag. I will leave the price here below for you guys. It's a really good price. You can get it on Azure as well, but it is substantially more expensive on Azure Standard. So I get it from Sam's Club. I love shopping at Azure Standard, but I also love saving money and not overspending on things. I'm going to restock my buckets because I'm really low on my cane sugar. The other thing that I mentioned during my pantry tour is that I like to have a good stock of maple syrup. So I ordered 2 more of these. I'll just actually add them over here. I to look at the date. So what is it? October the 8th, 6th. I really would like to have another 2 things because I like to keep 2 rows of 4 for my maple syrup just to make sure that I'm good and stocked up, because again, this is what I am using in a lot of my baking, and I do apologize about the lighting. It's a little dark. And then the other thing I got stocked up on was some peppercorn. So I got some whole black pepper and then just some finely ground black pepper. So I ordered all of those on Sam's Club, and then you get the free delivery if it is over $50 in my area. So got those. And then Steven had to run into Costco yesterday, which is about maybe 40 minutes away from us. He had to go and make a really big purchase there. So I just said, hey, while you're there, can you grab me some flour? I have switched completely over to fresh milled flour for like anything that I consume or any baking that I do. However, I have found that when making things like a roux or a gravy, I have not mastered using the fresh milled flour yet. I made a chicken Alfredo with it, and it just ruined the Alfredo sauce. It almost had like a fishy taste to it, which was really weird. And I couldn't figure out why, because my milk was good. And then I thought, oh, it's probably because I used the kamut. I don't know, maybe it wasn't it, but something was off in that Alfredo sauce. And the only new thing that I did with it was use the freshly ground kamut. So I'm going to stick to right now, while I'm in the learning curve of using how to use the freshly grained stuff, I'm going to use this all-purpose stuff. I just restocked a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to throw these in the freezer for a week. Let anything that, you know, could potentially be in it, get it out. I will refill my buckets because my all-purpose flour bucket is actually almost completely empty. So these 2 bags will almost fill the 5-gallon bucket up. So that will be good for a while. It does not stay fresh for very long because, again, it is not a freshly ground thing. It will go rancid over a long period of time. So I do have oxygen absorbers that I do store in my buckets to keep it fresher a little bit longer. So we just got back from Walmart, and I just wanted to include this clip in here because I know when I showed my Azure, my Sam's Club stuff, there was no produce other than the potatoes and the carrots. I usually try to eat my frozen produce, but I do like to have fresh stuff. So I did pick up a bag of grapefruits from Walmart, and I think these were $6. How many pounds? 5 pounds. So we got 5 pounds of grapefruit, and then I picked up a 2-pound thing of kiwis. I have been loving kiwis for breakfast. That up, and that was $4.27, I think. It was on sale. They did a rollback with it. And then Steven, his weakness is coffee creamer. I have tried to make him some stuff from scratch. I actually did a video on it, and I will leave it linked here for you guys. I thought it tasted good, but I also don't drink coffee creamer, but he's seen this and he's like, I gotta try this. So he got that. And then I also picked up a bag of chocolate chips, because that was one thing that I actually asked Steven to get at Costco yesterday, was some chocolate chips, and he said he could not find them anywhere. So I picked up a bag at Walmart, and man, chocolate chips are expensive. So expensive. And then I also got some avocados. These were, I think, 56 cents. I'll leave the prices below. But we ended up getting 6 of them. I like to put my avocados in the fridge, and then a couple of days before I actually want to use them, I will put them out on the counter to ripen. But they will stay good in the fridge for a very, very long time. I think I actually had a bag in the fridge and it lasted me almost 2 months and it did not go bad. That is one way to make your avocados last a really, really long time, because I know avocados are like, 1 minute they're totally hard, you can't use them, and literally you look away and it's unusable. It's all black inside. So got some more avocados. And then the last thing I picked up was just a little thing of bananas. So this will be good for our produce for the month. And then again, I have my frozen stuff, and then I also have a little bit of apples, and I've got some lettuce from my friend that has a garden. She has lettuce. She also said that she'll probably have lettuce throughout the winter, so I will keep getting fresh produce from her. I've been doing little canning projects here and there just to keep my pantry stocked. And I've been filming those projects, but not like filming them like these types of videos. I've just been turning the camera on, doing the project. And what I've done is I've taken 3 of those projects. I think there's 3 of them, maybe 2. There's either 3 or 2. If there's a third one, it's a bonus one because I can't remember. Anyways, I've been filming them. So what I'm going to do is include them in this video for you guys and show you some of my most used easy canning recipes. As I'm editing the video for you guys, I will be watching it with you because I honestly can't remember what I even filmed. Hence why I can't remember if there's either 2 or 3 things. So anyways, I'm going to include them here for you guys so that you can see how we are going to get our pantry good and stocked for the winter months when we're planning on not buying any groceries for those 2 months. So for the first project, we are going to can a regular basic tomato sauce. So this is a tomato sauce that doesn't have any seasoning in it, no salt or pepper. It is just tomatoes cooked down to a beautiful thick sauce. So I use a variety of tomatoes when I make my sauce. I just use what I have available. So this was a whole bunch that had gotten ripe and I needed to get them used. I like to wait until I have a whole bunch of tomatoes to make a sauce because it is a very time-consuming project, especially if you're using slicer tomatoes. So what I like to do is just core the tomatoes, take off any bad spots. I do not worry about taking the skins off when I'm making my sauce, and you'll see why later on. But I'm just going to add all of those cut up tomatoes into my roaster oven. I also had a whole bunch of frozen tomatoes in my freezer, and I'm going to add those as well. It doesn't make a difference that I'm adding fresh and frozen in here. It all cooks down perfectly fine to mix them. So I'm going to add my frozen tomatoes to the roaster oven, and then we are going to get the roaster oven turned on to about a 350. I like to turn it up a little bit higher than normal at the beginning just to get those frozen tomatoes melted. So after they've been in there for about an hour, I'm going to come and stir it and just get some of the water removed. The frozen tomatoes tend to cause a lot of water buildup in here, and I like to just remove the excess amount. I'm being very careful not to get any of like the tomato juice out of it. I'm making sure that that water is pretty clear when I'm taking it out. So now that they've cooked down a little bit, I'm gonna finish adding the rest of my fresh tomatoes in here. I couldn't even close the lid before, so I just kind of had to wait for them to cook down a little bit. So this is after about 4 hours of it cooking. super, super watery. But most of the tomatoes are melted and soft, so I'm able to get the skins off really easy. I had recently picked this tool up from an auction. I won an auction online and I think I got this for $2, and I was so excited to finally use it because I had really just got it strictly for doing my tomatoes and applesauce, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to get it out and try it. I started using it and could not deal with it. It just was not cranking right. I think it needs to be kind of fixed a little bit because it is super vintage. It just wasn't turning right and it was making a huge mess, and I just thought, I'm done. After 5 minutes, I didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted to get this part done with. So I just got my little hand food mill and just did everything this way. Now this gets all of the seeds and the skins out of it. I usually run it through this twice. So I'll run it through one time, put it in a bowl, and then once that bowl is full and the roaster oven is empty, then I'll wash the roaster oven out and then just run it back through and add it back to the roaster oven. You don't have to do this step. If you are perfectly fine with having seeds and skins in your sauce, you don't need to do this. I just am very, very picky with it, and I like to have a really, really smooth sauce. So after I ran it through here twice, I added it back to the roaster oven, and I actually let this cook overnight because it was very, very watery. I wanted this sauce to be a nice cooked down thick sauce. If you are fine with having the runny sauce, then this would be perfectly fine to can at this point. But as you can see here, it was just very, very, very runny, and I like a super thick sauce. So in the morning, after it cooked down all night, I turned the roaster oven down to, I think it was like 250, and I just let it cook all night. I'm going to get this finely canned up. So we are going to use some citric acid in this. You could also use lemon juice if you would like. Because I am doing these in pint-sized jars, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid to all of these jars. If you're using lemon juice, you're just going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice to the jars. Once I get that added in, I'm going to add my hot tomato sauce to the jars, and we are going to leave a 1/2 inch headspace on those jars. Because my sauce is hot, I had to preheat these jars just to make sure that I didn't have any breakage. And then I'm going to get these debubbled, readjust the headspace if needed, and then make sure the tops are good and clean. And then we're going to get our lids and our rings put onto these jars. Now this is a water bath canning recipe, and because we are doing pint-sized jars, we are going to water bath can this for 35 minutes, and you're going to start the timer once it gets to that full rolling boil. I actually ended up, unfortunately, not tightening one of my jars enough, and I had the lid pop up during the canning process. But other than that, all of them sealed, and we got all of that delicious plain tomato sauce on our pantry shelf. Like I said earlier, this is one of the most important things that I can every single year because it is just a basic that we use all of the time. So super happy to get this project done. For the second recipe, we are going to make some beef bone broth, or stock because I'm adding vegetables. I think it's considered a bone broth if you just use the bones and not the veggies. I just call it a bone broth because I'm using bones in it. So anyways, I'm going to get the bones roasted before I make this. You do not need to do this step if you do not have the time to do it. You can just add your frozen bones right to your roaster oven. So I'm going to use some frozen veggie scraps. Every time I have like a carrot or carrot peelings or onion peelings, I just put them into a bag in my freezer. And when it comes time to making stock, I just use those veggies in my stock. I'm going to add enough water to bring this up to the top. And then one thing that's really good to add when making your beef broth is some apple cider vinegar. It does help release some of the nutrients from the bones, so I never skip that step. I usually add about 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how much water I have. I also like to add some peppercorns and some bay leaves. I do not add salt to my broth. I don't like it. I like to have a very, very base broth, and I figure if I want to add salt, just add whatever salt I want to the dish when I'm making it. We were actually going somewhere for the weekend, so I had to get this strained right away. So this actually only cooked down for 24 hours, but ideally 48 hours is the best to really get those nutrients and all of that jelly out of the bones. And I say jelly because when you make your broth, it will actually turn into a jelly after it's sat for a little bit. But I only did 24 hours, so unfortunately I didn't get that nice gelatin to it. So after the 24 hours, I am going to strain it, and I double strain this because, as you can see, I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff off of this that I missed during the first straining. So I always use a Mechlin cloth or a cheesecloth to do my second strain. And I'm actually going to leave this in the fridge while we're gone because I noticed that there was quite a bit of fat on this and I did not want to get that into my canning jars. So I put this in the fridge and I actually left it in the fridge for the weekend. So it sat in there for 3 days. After the 3 days, I took it out and decided it was finally time to get this broth canned up. And I'm just taking the fat layer that settled on the top of it. You really do want to let this rest for at least 24 hours so that you can get that fat to settle to the top, because you don't want to have that in your canning lids. It can sometimes alter the seal. So after I took the fat cap off of it, I put the pot on the stove top, brought it up to a boil. I heated my jars up, and then I added the broth to the jars, leaving 1-inch headspace to it. I wiped the rims off really good because, again, there was a little bit of the fat still in there, so I wanted to make sure none of it was on the rims. We put our lids on, and then we did these fingertip tight. Now this is a pressure canning recipe, so I am using my Presto pressure canner, and you can double stack with this particular model that I have. Please use your manual to your pressure canner to find out if you can double stack. That is one reason why I actually purchased this model, was because I could do bigger batches at one time. So we are going to pressure can these for 20 minutes because we are doing pints, and there they are coming out of the pressure canner. This is definitely one of my essential canning recipes. So those are some fun canning projects that we got done, keeping our pantry good in stock. You know what I want to open with, you guys? I forgot that I had this. We always stop at IKEA in Memphis on the way home from visiting Stephen's family in Arkansas. And this month, I decided to get an advent calendar. I've never gotten one from IKEA before, and it said it had chocolate in it, and I was like, ooh, I like chocolate. And I was definitely hungry when I was shopping, so here's number one, because today's December the 1st. Let's open it up and see what we've got. Ooh, what's in here? Yummy. It's all different kinds of chocolates. Tells you on the back what they have. This looks like this is a vanilla truffle. Yummy. I'll have that as a snack later. I wanted to open it up with you guys. So number one's down. I love Christmas. Favorite time of year. We got our tree put up. I love having this thing turned on at night. It's just so peaceful. Got all of our stockings out. I wanted to let you all know that my apple pie jam that we made last week, it set up, and it set up beautifully. It's delicious. I had zero faith that that was going to set up, and I was super excited when I got back home and found that it had set up. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys. I like to empty the older sugar into a bowl before I put the fresh stuff in. That way this stuff gets used first.